and spend 40 time on IEC Busywork. So let's be honest, no one ever said I became an IEC because I just love chasing down essay prompts, copying deadlines into spreadsheets, reminding students 14 hours a day to check their email. If you've ever thought there's got to be a better way to do this, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about how top IECs are serving significantly more students without having to clone themselves. You'll see a modern way to recommend best fit schools, instantly organize every student's essay, keep students productive between sessions, and even automatically remind them of deadlines so you don't have to act like that nagging parent in their lives. By the end of this session, you'll know how to increase your students' acceptance rates and free up more time to add more students or free up your evenings, whichever is most important to you. So let's start with a quick overview of what we'll cover. So we'll cover 4 items: ways to reclaim your time, ways to improve students' acceptance rates, ways to ensure that students progress in the college application process in between the times that you meet with them, and means to grow your counseling business and potentially add more students. So my background is I've spent more than 30 years in software development. I was one of the founders of the first so-called SaaS company on the internet. That was back in 1997. And we saw a lot of similarities in the college application process to what we saw in a lot of other industries over the years. So we've worked with over 1,000 students, families, and IECs on ways to fundamentally make the whole admissions process a lot more smoother and more efficient for all parties. Here's what we learned. So from IECs, we learned that they got into this business primarily because they love interacting with students. They love helping them find their best fit schools and helping them craft their narratives, understand who they are. And fundamentally, they love to have a tangible impact on those students' lives. What they don't love so much is having to collect a lot of data, data on colleges, essay prompts, manipulating spreadsheets, hunting down the latest versions of essays that the students are working on, keeping track of all the application details, having to hound students to complete tasks and get them done on time, managing overbearing, sometimes anxious parents, and then tracking down acceptances after the fact, after students have been admitted. What we learned from students and their parents is that the application process is incredibly overwhelming. This is probably not new information to you. That's one of the many reasons why they've hired you. But they want to see the big picture and where they are in the process. And we've heard that even working with IECs, they often don't understand kind of all that needs to get done and where they are in that process. The current set of IEC tools in the market for students, we hear from students, are very hard to use, and students don't enjoy using them. We've heard from IECs that students don't engage. And fundamentally, students need more handholding between IE sessions than is financially viable for IECs to provide. For your own sanity and business model, you can't be meeting with students every single time they have a question or every time they want to get together and do a Zoom call. So you've got to manage your time, manage your hours. So with these issues in mind, we developed something called Collegeease. And what we'll do is we'll walk through, we'll use Collegeease as a way of showing means of improving the whole college application experience for the IEC, for the student, and ultimately ways of getting better outcomes. We'll show you kind of hands-on, step-by-step. One way is reclaiming time. So how do we reclaim time? So the college requirements and due dates are captured all in one place. As you add a college to your college list in the application, you get all of the information in one place. That includes college essay information. Every college essay is captured in a Google Doc, and every essay is categorized so that you can quickly see and work with your student on identifying those essays that can be reused across colleges. Simply clicking on the link to the Google Doc opens a doc that then is shareable with you and the student and the parents instantly. So just from within the system, everyone has access to the same doc. And if you're using an external essay reviewer, they also have access to these docs, whether they have access to Collegeease or not. You can also effortlessly track student progress. You can see how much of the college application process has been completed by the student, what they've done between sessions, the last 7 days, the last 30 days. You can actually see if there are certain tasks that they have explicitly skipped and what the last task was that they completed. And the system automatically will send them alerts. So it sends them text alerts and email alerts so that you don't have to hound them. So those are some ways that IECs reclaim their time so that they don't spend time on the busy work. Let's focus on some ways that Collegeease increases acceptance rates. And some of the items that we go through here are generally applicable whether you're using Collegeease or not. So hopefully this will be either new information for you that you can use or reinforce some of what your best practices. As we know, if there's a great fit between the student and their selection of college, there's a higher probability of acceptance. We use an interactive exercise, which is a variant of conjoint analysis that walks a student through all of the different factors that may be important to them. We educate the student on the major categories of location, academics, campus environment, student life, and college cost. And within each of those areas, for instance, we're here under academics, we show them all the different factors that may differentiate one college from another. This exploration is an opportunity for them to understand what's important to them and what isn't. All of their answers are saved in the system, so you as the consultant can work with a student and perhaps educate them on factors that they may have overlooked that you and your knowledge know are more important than they have ascribed value to presently. It's also valuable for the parents to engage and have that conversation. So that interactive discussion on what's important to you in a college is a very important first step as a student embarks on making perhaps their most complex decision ever in their life. At the end of that process, we recommend colleges. And once again, these are US colleges that we're focusing on. And those colleges offer the best fit according to what the student is looking for. Another way to improve college acceptance rates is to ensure that the student excels at some extracurriculars where they can achieve distinction, and that they select majors that allow them to be essentially less competitive. So on the major front, our system uses AI to interactively ask a series of questions of the student, honing in on where they've succeeded academically, where their passions are, where people have complimented them, and some career aspiration questions. And we then compare their answers to a variety of data-based factors. One is the prevalence of majors at colleges, and the other is the acceptance rates for those majors across colleges. We're looking at the national level, and we recommend majors that are aligned with that student's interests and aptitude. And we'll put them in categories of most competitive and least competitive majors so that you and the student can make intelligent decisions as to which majors you might want to articulate in the YS essay or the major essay, which is a common one for supplementals. As you know, though, any given major could be highly competitive at a school that is known or has a reputation for that particular major. So obviously it differs from school to school. But this helps the student get a general sense as to what area they want to pursue. We do the same thing for activities as well. We recommend all the standard activities that they would most likely find in their high school, but we also think outside of the box about community activities, independent activities, and other areas that are once again aligned with their interests and their passions. In addition to finding best fit schools and identifying extracurriculars and majors that are most appropriate for that student, we help them write unforgettable essays. We break the essay process down into simple bite-sized pieces. For any of us on this webinar today, it would probably be quite a challenge to reflect on our life and write a one-page synopsis of our identity, essentially. It's damn near impossible for a 17-year-old, as we all know. So what we do is we begin first with some very simple brainstorm exercises that allows the student to reflect upon different dimensions of their life. And then we walk them through a step-by-step process of selecting those ideas and then gradually building out different drafts of that essay and bringing in best practices such as the showing, not telling, having a compelling hook for your intro, talking about the student and not some third party like a grandmother or a parent, all the kind of best practices. At the end of the day, though, you as the IEC need to review the essays from the student, but we're trying to provide them with more guidance to take some of that initial burden off of your plate. And as you know, a student can be a stellar academic, both in terms of their test scores and their GPA. They may turn in their applications on time, but if they forget one item, such as getting their transcripts in or a letter of recommendation for that college they added at the last minute, then they'll receive a rejection. So our system keeps track of everything that they've turned in so that you and the student can see if anything, so you can basically ensure that nothing falls through the cracks and see if anything has not been turned in. So in addition to improving students' acceptance rates and reclaiming your time, one thing we've heard from IEC is that students tend to not be highly engaged, and some students don't make as much progress between sessions as we would like. Collegeease is designed to address this explicitly. The student, when they onboard the system, are asked a series of questions. They're asked about their graduation year for when they expect to matriculate into college. We ask them about the extracurriculars that they've been involved in, if they expect to pursue any of those in college. We ask them about any special education needs, financial aid needs, and whether or not they expect to be taking ACT, SAT tests. And based on the answers to this information, based on their year in high school and when they plan on applying, and based on best practices in the industry, we build out a custom calendar of a roadmap and tasks for the student to do so that you do not have to do that. And if the student ever has any question as to what they need to work on next, they simply click on this tab here and they see what to do next with the one single task clearly highlighted for them. Every task is broken down to very simple bite-sized pieces. Every task can be completed in anywhere from 3 minutes to 15 minutes. Some of the tasks are longer. They may take 30 to 45 minutes, but we try to break everything down into small bits so that the student has a sense of accomplishment, progress, and they move forward so that it's not an overwhelming process for them. Every task has a video tutorial, a short 30-second overview of what they're supposed to do, and then below the fold, it explains exactly how to do it. And then if they have any questions about any part of the process, there's 24/7 support through an interactive QA feature. So you can get answers to frequently asked questions, dictionaries, and other help. Finally, let's conclude with ways to grow your consulting business. So inside the system, you see all of the people that are your shared users. You can simply click the Add User button in the lower right-hand corner, and you can add students, and you can add other members of your team. When students are added, you see them added to your counselor dashboard. In addition to the items that we covered before about status tracking, there's also the ability to track notes, so you can take notes concluding a session on what the student's expected to do for the next session, and you can prepare for your upcoming session by capturing what it is that you want to focus on during that session. And most importantly, our focus is on helping you unlock more billable hours, which means be able to onboard more students. We've heard from many IECs that they have to turn away students because they're at full capacity. They only have so many hours in the day. So we have two low-cost subscription options. One option is where the parent simply purchases the service directly and you have full access to the student's account, which is completely free to you. And the other option is where you simply bundle the Collegeease with your own services. So these are our quoted retail prices. for attendees of today's webinar for IECs, you get 50% off these rates, and we will honor these rates into the future as well. So we've seen ways to reclaim your time as an IEC so that you can get more leverage and spend more time with students doing what you love. We've shown you a couple of the ways that Collegeease is architected to improve student outcomes, their college acceptance rates. And we've also looked at ways that the system is designed to highly engage students so that they make significant progress in the college application journey in between the times that you meet with them. And finally, we've demonstrated how you can essentially onboard more students and grow your business using Collegeease. As mentioned, we have a discount code. So if you were to go to collegeease.com, copy down this code, LUM50, and I think Adya will add into the chat that information as well so that you can copy it. You can also try it for free. So if you go to collegeease.com and click the try for free button, you'll be given a demo student account so that you can see the experience from the student's vantage point. If you have any questions whatsoever after this webinar, you can simply send an email to support@collegeease.com. So at this point, I'm happy to open the floor to any questions.
Hi, everyone. Please put all your questions in the chat and I can compile them and Daniel can get through them one by one. I also hope you're all able to see the chat. I've put in the email as well as the website, as well as the discount code. So please feel free to note those down and keep it for later.
And if we don't have any explicit questions, we can certainly open up the open this up since we have so few people, and have it be more of kind of a interactive discussion if you'd like. I'd also
I have one question from Shabhav. What AI functionality does the platform have?
Okay. Great question. So if you can see my screen, let me actually show you the application so that you can kind of see it for yourself. So this is the counselor dashboard. The system is designed around the student. So here we see the student that we have selected in this corner. If I click on Mary Jones to view her student, I'm able, her profile changes and the entire instance here changes for that student. So what I'm seeing right now is everything that a counselor would see. So the dashboard gives me an overview, but I as a counselor get to see everything that the student sees. So I get to see their roadmap. I get to see the calendar, which is the same items on the roadmap, the different categories over time for that student, when they join, and what today's date is, and what they've completed in between the time of joining and where they stand in the process. I can see what they have to do. I can see their college dashboard. I can see their essays. I can read the essays that the students have authored, and I can see the progress on each of those essays, and I can open up each essay here. This is the same information that is available to the students, your students and their families, which is the college costs. And any notes that you take and share with a student or that they type themselves, this is all shared information between you and the student. Things they love, things they don't love about the different schools, their login credentials. And then the ratings information is also shared between you and the student. So this is where, and I should probably show you, but the exercise we take them through, that interactive exercise of what's most important to them. For this particular student, here's the rank order of the criteria most important to them in a school. And here are the schools on their list. And it shows how the schools rank in those different kinds of factors. You as a consultant are able to add colleges to that student's list here. And you can also weigh in on whether or not these are reach or safety schools and what decision type they choose. When you select a decision type, for instance, if you select regular decision here, behind the scenes, a series of tasks are created specifically for that student around that due date. And the tasks are apportioned over time, so everything isn't due at the same time. So we notify the student well in advance that they need to order transcripts for that school, that they need to make sure that their letters of recommendation have been sent in, and obviously that the application needs to be done. So all those tasks are automatically generated by the system. So you don't have to hand input a whole curriculum for what the student needs to do. It's all here based on best practices. And within any one of these areas, you can click on that area and see specific tasks. So if you and the student want to focus solely on college selection between now and say your next session, all of the tasks associated with that are here. Every part of the process, and you and the student can choose to skip tasks, so it's totally flexible. And as mentioned, every single task comes populated with an overview video and an explanation of how to do it
Let's kick things.
to make it very simple and engaging for the student. Yeah.
So I have two more questions from Shubham. Also, everyone, you should be able to chat with me. Daniel, is it okay? We can unmute people, and then if they want, they can also raise their hands and ask questions. So we can also do it that way. I think that might make it a little easier. But I'll just get through Shubham's questions first, and then we can move on to everyone else. So the next question that Shubham has is, what AI functionality can a student use?
Okay. So we use AI selectively in the application. So we use it in the selection of or recommendations of college major. We use it in recommendations of extracurricular activities. We use it behind the scenes in our business just to expedite and make more efficient a lot of the processes that you see, but we use it sparingly. So we know that we certainly do not use it to author essays. That's really against kind of our beliefs. We believe that from what we've heard from the admissions community, that the authentic voice of that student needs to come through loud and clear.
The next one is, I think, similar to that, which is there anything which helps users to brainstorm essays using AI support?
That's a good question. We do help students brainstorm, but not using AI. We have taken kind of best practices on essay writing, and we've captured those. So we have a variety of brainstorm exercises here, such as completion of sentences, my life in a box, which is a different kind of exercise here, which is write down 10 objects and why they're important to you. And then identification of their values. So what we're doing here is we're looking at their life and their personality from very different angles. Here, this is kind of a values inventory, if you will. So we do not use AI for that brainstorming exercise. We could certainly put some of these exercises into an AI to make it more interactive. We feel like the student needs to kind of reflect deeply in this process, and often writing is a better environment for kind of capturing that versus the temporal nature of question and answer prompting.
Awesome. And the next question is from Varnika, who said that she wanted to understand if the demo version is for a student account or an IEC account.
Okay, so as for the IEC that logs in, you will see everything that I've shown you today. And do you see this column here that says demo student? So that's what will be included in your account. And that demo student environment is exactly the same as what you see. So you get 100% of the functionality, so you can take it for a spin and see exactly what you get.
And the next question, also from Varnika, is what's the source of the college listing?
When you say college listing, can you be more specific?
I think, Monica, you should be able to unmute yourself if you'd like to clarify that.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to understand, you shared, Daniel, that you guys are suggesting creating college lists based on the whatever information the student is providing. So I wanted to understand what's the source of that you guys are using in the system.
Oh, okay. So do you mean when we do college recommendations, what's the
Yes.
source of
Yes.
that? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. We spent over a year building up an in-depth database of evaluative criteria for the top 1,100 colleges in the United States, colleges and universities. And that was derived from a large variety of sources, depending on the topic that we cover. So majors obviously are taken directly from the school's curriculum. More subjective factors like political environment are taken from surveys done about schools, as well as general chat and vibes about schools online. So each factor that you see is captured from different sources and amassed and standardized and normalized. Great question. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica. That's all the questions I've gotten so far. Are there any more questions? You guys can either put them in the chat or feel free to raise your hand and ask them yourselves as well. Okay, I think, Daniel, there are no more questions. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And thank you all for the generosity of your time in joining us today. Once again, I'm here to answer any questions whatsoever. If you have after our call, you can just simply send an email to support@collegeease.com. We'll be responsive. And don't take my word for it. Just try it, give it a test spin and see if it works for your business. The one thing I want to kind of leave you with, the takeaway, if you will, is that if parents hire you to get their kids into the right colleges, you need to have the student engaged, and the student needs to do the work. Students love Collegeease and they use it. We've had thousands of students go through the system, and IECs love it too, because it handles the busy work. So you can focus on what you actually love, which is working and engaging with those students and achieving great outcomes. So once again, I hope you have a positive experience using the service, and thank you again for your time today.
Sorry, Daniel, we have one last question from Monica. Is it possible to use this as a white label service?
So we will have that feature in the future, but presently that is not available.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And thanks so much, everyone, for joining us this Saturday. And I hope you guys have a lovely weekend. And thank you so much again, Daniel, for your time.
My pleasure.
Yeah, great session. Thanks,
Thank you, everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.